Hello, boys and girls. I am here today to talk to you about word problems. Word problems is something that we have been working on for the past few weeks, and we're going to continue to work on it until the end of the year because it is such a big part of math. Being able to read a word problem, understand what it's asking, and then to solve it. So I want to talk to you about the two types of word problems there are. You guys have already heard and seen a lot of what we call change problems. But what you haven't seen a lot of this year is this type of problem, a compare problem. And so we want to try to arm you basically with some attack strategies when you see a word problem. And the first thing we want you to do is to try to figure out whether it's a change or a compare problem. So I wanted to show you just this little picture I made a while ago. It's basically talking about the fact that change problems and compare problems are two different types of umbrellas. The change problems have three different types inside of the change problems. The first is a start unknown. We'll look at what that means exactly in a minute. The next is called a change unknown. And then the last type of problem is an end unknown. That is for change problems. But for compare problems, you'll see it actually doesn't have, you don't have to worry about these three types of unknowns. There may be an unknown at the start or change or end, but the important thing here is to think about who has more in a compare problem. Usually you guys like to see in a compare problem the numbers 15 and 10, add them together and think 25 is the answer. But sometimes you have to really be figuring out who has more and then who has less. And the way to do that is to use this strategy that I've used with kids for the past couple years. It's called little circle, big circle. So when we see compare problems, we'll talk about who has more and the little circle, big circle strategy. And when we talk about change problems, we'll just figure out where the unknown is. Is it at the beginning, the start? Is it at the change, which is where something either adds or takes away from my pile? Or is it at the end, which you all are great at end unknown problems already. So I want to show you, sorry, Miss Cameron's here in the background making noise. I want to show you right now the three types of change problems. So remember, there's start unknown, change unknown, end unknown. So here's what they look like. There are three types of change problems, and it depends on where the unknown is. So I'm going to have you take a guess before I move the block, or the rectangle, I guess. Which unknown do you think this is right here? Problem number one. Is it a start unknown, a change unknown, or an end unknown? If you saw that the box was at the start of the equation, you guessed correctly. It's a start unknown. Now for number two, you're trying to think, where's the unknown here? Is it at the start? Is it at the change? Or is it at the end? If you realized that the unknown was what happened when I added or took away from my pile, it is a change unknown problem. You got that correct. Our last type of problem is it a start, a change, or an end? Ooh, this is the one I said you guys were the best at because you just love to just add or subtract two numbers together. What do you think? If you guessed end unknown, you are correct. Another way of saying this could be total. Ooh, let me see if I can get my handwriting skills down here. It's been a while since I've had to do that. Total unknown, or another way to say it would be result unknown. So now I know that you only saw addition equations here. Oh, I don't need to write the unknown. It's already there. Result unknown. I know you only saw addition equations here, but it doesn't matter. It's still the same exact thing. If this was box take away 8 equals 15, it would still be a start unknown because the unknown would still be at the beginning. So remember we talked about that change unknown is where we have to figure out who has more. So let's see if I can find my old, it's been a while since I've looked through this. Let's see. Still not there yet. Oh, here it is. Okay. So when you're comparing something, like in a compare problem, we're trying to figure out who has more. So a compare problem might look something like this. Anna has fewer dolls than Molly. We're comparing who has more dolls, Anna or Molly. And so we have to figure out who has more and who has less. And so that's why figuring that out will help us. Once we know that, then we can set it up using our big circle, little circle strategy. So an example of our big circle, little circle is right here on this problem. We have Miss Hatch has 14 fewer Reese's Cups than Miss Bekeef. Miss Hatch has 4 Reese's Cups. How many Reese's Cups does Miss Bekeef have? So you can see here that I'm not starting with something and then changing it to something else. I'm starting with something and Miss Bekeef's starting with something, and we're trying to figure out who has more and who has less. So you can see I've already set it up here. I've drawn a little circle. To get to the bigger circle, I had to add, so that's why I wrote a plus sign, blank, equals, and then big box. This is the big circle. This is the way you will always set up the big circle, little circle strategy. It'll always be little circle plus blank equals big circle. I've already gone through and figured out who has more because it says, read in my problem, Miss Hatch has 14 fewer. So Miss Hatch has fewer. And fewer means less. So I put Miss Hatch, I put a label over top of the little circle for her because I have less. And then that must mean Miss Bekeef has more. So I put her name over the big circle. If I think about my cube strategy, remember I've got a circle my 2 numbers that I know. I know 14 and I know 4. Underline the question. Oh, how many Reese's Cups does Miss Bekeef have? Well, this is Miss Bekeef in the big circle. Notice I put a question mark here because I don't know. Oh, let's see. Does it see B is box keywords? Oh, fewer is a keyword for sure. Miss Hatch has 4 Reese's Cups. Okay, so notice I put 4 in my circle because we already know how many I have. So the only other number I had left was 14, so that's why it goes there. So now I can solve S. So write an equation. I can use my triangle. Addition is as easy as 1, 2, 3. So this is always 3, 2, 1. So box goes here, 2. Oh, I forgot to draw my minus and plus signs. Well, let me do that now. 4 goes here. Circle the 2 numbers I know. Oh, the triangle says to add. I can stack, or this one's so small, I can do it in my head. All right, so we're going to keep talking this week about change and compare problems. I will talk to you soon.